Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Wipro and IBM showcase event brought to you today in partnership with GDS. 90 minutes of executive thought leadership on one vital topic: operationalizing sustainable IT. Now, as many of you will know, sustainability initiatives have come into sharp focus for enterprise organizations today, whether that's in response to investors and consumers or governments around the world passing new regulations that require both a reduction in emissions as well as accurate annual reporting. The fundamental question facing you as leaders in this space is, how can IT meet the needs of a business without compromising the needs of future generations? Well, today we are thrilled to have an opportunity to explore this topic with leading figures from both Wipro and IBM, two industry titans whose global partnership spans more than 2 decades, with a proven track record of collaborating on and co-developing solutions for complex client challenges, which is our panel session. This is where we're going to dig a little bit deeper into enabling sustainable IT, building on some of the themes that Sinead was able to cover in her opening keynote. And we'll be asking ourselves, what does a best-in-class ecosystem really look like? One that can reduce emissions across an organization's data centers, big data analytics, security, and of course, internet usage. 4 areas identified by IBM, in fact, as those that can be addressed and reduced with targeted sustainability efforts. Well, for more on this, I'm pleased to say that we have our panelists in waiting who are here to join me now in the studio. So folks who are watching along, please say a good afternoon and welcome to the following: Joseph Ashton, who is the VP and GM for the EMEA region at Turbonomic, and Gaurav Parakh, who is a Director of Cloud Strategy and Emerging Offerings at Wipro. And I should say his colleague, Aman Minhas, who you do see there on the slide, sadly unable to join us for the session, but 2 out of 3 is not bad, is it? So let's say hello to the 2 that are with us here. We'll do some introductions first and foremost. So if you just want to quickly tell us a bit about yourself and your passion for this area, I suppose. Joe, I'll come to you first.
Not a problem, Alec. Thanks for having us. The good news about there being 2 out of 3 is you get more time with Gaurav and myself. So I hope that's received well. So great to meet everyone. So Joe Ashton, I am in the enviable position of leading Turbonomic, the brand throughout Europe, Middle East and Africa. Part of the organisation prior to acquisition, and obviously we did transfer a business into IBM in July last year. I've been in the industry a long time. We're all a bit younger than we actually look from that, but a long history in the ecosystem myself. I had a long stint in the security industry as well. So I spent 10 years previously to Turbo at Trend Micro, doing a number of roles, led the channel, and finally leading sales for the UK and I. So I like to think that I'm fairly upskilled in regards to what people are trying to achieve. And I suppose passion, I live my life with one simple mantra that I try to embed throughout all of our teams and all of our customers. And that is that a customer's not a customer until it's deployed and they're seeing value. And thankfully, Turbonomic, that Sinead's done a great job on, absolutely plays into that space, being a disruptive technology that it is, and a new way of looking at things.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks very much, Joe. Absolutely. Lots of experience there that we can lean on here as part of this session. Gaurav, what about yourself?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Gaurav Parakh, based out of UK. I'm a Global Director for Cloud Strategy and Emerging Offering Full Stride for Wipro. I have a 25 years experience in IT industry. I've been part of AI, open source, startup, have built startups from ideation to growth and to sell. And it's been an interesting journey to be part of, the new environment with AI and cloud. So currently I'm heading the hybrid cloud environment.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for being here today. And folks, as a reminder, in many ways, this is an opportunity for you to get involved as well. So I've got a load of questions here to put to our 2 thought leaders. But if you have any comments or thoughts, please do share them with us in our chat. Carl is our producer today, on hand, ready to bring you up at the appropriate point. But Gaurav, I'll come to you first, if I may. And we've seen significant change in this space in many ways. Can you give us an insight into what you see as perhaps the most significant market trends or movements that leaders in IT, the folks that are here today, should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I will say the highest amount of traction and conversation we are having in primarily into 3, 4 areas. Every organization maturity curve is different, but most of the conversation what we are having with big, large enterprise, the first is artificial intelligence and machine learning. AI and ML technologies are transforming, IT operation, be automating routine tasks, enabling predictive analytics, or solution. And we are also seeing organization are now very inquisitive and trying to adopt generative AI. There's a lot of conversation is happening around it, how they can bring generative AI into IT monitoring, incident management, resource optimization, or effective service delivery. So that is one area where huge amount of conversation and action is happening. Another area is cloud computing. I think the adoption of cloud services has not stopped. It is accelerating. Infrastructure, applications, or data is still moving to cloud. We are seeing more and more organization now in a second wave to cloud is more moving toward cloud native technologies or hybrid and multi-cloud or edge-based scenarios. And there is also a level of how they can strengthen their cloud governance and cybersecurity. Third area I will think about, which has been evergreen, is DevOps and agile practices. So organization are trying to leverage and embrace methodology which can help them improve their operational agility. But last but not the least, I will say sustainability. As environment concerns are increasing, we are seeing more and more CXOs are incorporating sustainability by design. And in their IT operation that include energy efficient infrastructure or responsible e-waste management or optimizing resource consumption. So these are the 4 areas normally we are seeing huge amount of action and traction where customer is trying to repel with.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Gaurav. Joe, same question really, and anything to maybe elaborate on in terms of what Gaurav was able to identify, those 4 areas?
Yeah, I mean, Gaurav's hit the nail on the head with regards to the trends, and we'd absolutely expect him to be on point with regards to what he's seeing in his client base right now. If we think about what's been going on over the last 10 years, is the growing adoption of obviously cloud, but more importantly, big data, AI, and IoT. It's absolutely everywhere at the moment. Every client that we and our team speak to is somewhere on that curve with regards to, are they advanced? Are they almost there? Do they think they're there? Or are they right at the start? But with that growing complexity, it goes into the second area that we see IT ops having a look into right now. With that change, it's all about increased complexity. And what we mean by that, if we just think about containerization, it's there in order to help a business manage fluctuating demand. But with that type of setup comes a decrease in visibility. So one of the main pain points for IT ops right now, and DevOps as well, is great, we've embraced all of these new technologies, or we're embracing the tech that we're seeing coming down the road. But with that becomes a lack of visibility into what we're doing. And more importantly, how do we do something about it? And the third piece for me that we're absolutely seeing a big surge in the market right now is the integration of AI into IT service management. So we've moved there. We can't see what we're doing, and when we can, how do we embed it into our processes in order to do something different? So yeah, change in environment, decreased visibility. With the decreased visibility, how do I embrace this new technology in order to embed it into my process?
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've kind of touched on them ever so slightly with your response there, Joe, but change of this magnitude quite clearly not easy, is it? Gaurav, when we think about challenges that IT leaders should be considering, what perhaps would you consider to be the top 3 or the biggest challenges any organization needs to address on this journey?
Yeah, I think you said it right. Implementing or navigating change is never easy. It's a cultural shift more than a technology adoption.
Yes.
And there are some areas which have always been a concern. Legacy system or technical debt. many organizations still rely on a legacy system, how to break those monolithic applications into microservices, and then create a web of APIs, run on containers. That it's not easy. It increases complexity. So migrating and modernization of these systems and ensuring a minimum disruption to the operation and data, that poses a big challenge. And then obviously with that, you have security and data privacy, because now your workloads are distributed across distributed and hybrid cloud environment. But if I want to pick one area, which I will say the biggest challenge which organizations are facing is the talent and skill gap. The rapid pace of technology which we have adopted, especially in the COVID and pre and post-COVID environment, it has outpaced the availability of skilled talent. And I think bridging that skill gap through training or upskilling or strategic hiring, that's a key element for organizations.
Yeah, fantastic. And Joe, maybe if I can ask you about that talent shortage we're seeing in so many spaces right now, many sectors affected by it. What advice do you have for the folks here today, or for others, on just how we bridge it?
Yeah, will it ever be bridged?
No.
I don't think it will. So that moves you to another place, and that means that we have to nurture the talent that we've already got.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is we're all sponges. We all want to learn. We all want to progress. And let's be honest, we all get bored as well. So if we're not embracing new tech, AI, automation, in order to take off the mundane tasks from the team that we've already invested in, to release them, go and do something where they can learn new skills, grow as a professional, make more of an impact to the business, which ultimately will help the business drive revenue. That's where I think we as professionals in this space and IT operations leaders really, really need to be looking in order to retain the people you've got, make their workday better, use IT and automation and whatever tools you have around you in order to free them up to do what they deserve to do and want to do most.
I think that's absolutely, fantastic. Thank you very much. A simple question now, perhaps, but maybe difficult to answer. But Joe, why now? With this topic in mind, why the urgency, in your opinion?
So why now? Probably why not now? If we don't do it now, then when will we do it? There is solutions available. There's ways to do it. But with regards to why now, I'll go into why we think people don't do it now. And it comes back from your last question, actually, to Gaurav. There was a really key one word that you had in there. What do IT leaders need to be doing right now? And as an IT leader, that IT leader needs to embrace and drive change through the organization. We get involved in an awful lot of scenarios whereby we show immense amount of value very, very quickly. We'll take 7 figures out of organizations and pay for ourselves within a couple of months sometimes.
Wow.
And we're amazed that they don't always come to fruition. And the reason for that is, as leaders, we need that agent for change that's going to say, do you know what? We know we've always done it this way. And it was the right way because we didn't have the option to do things differently. Now, trying to convert people to do things differently, we come up against the human reaction of, oh, hang on a minute, you're telling me that I've done this wrong previously. That's not the case. We're not marking your homework. What we're doing is we're showing you that there is a new way to do it, and you need to embrace that. The leaders in the space need to be that agent for change. Drive change, but don't drive change by telling people. Drive change by showing them that it can be done in a different way.
And Gaurav, nodding in agreement, I assume, with what Joe's saying. What are your thoughts on this? It's not an easy one to solve, is it? But the urgency and the timing of it is important to consider.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's not an easy one. But I will say, technology advancement and that adoption, that speed, which organizations are adopting technology, cloud computing or AI or IoT, and primarily because of the maturity and feasibility of which is allowing these organizations to adopt. To become more effective, but also the availability of scalable infrastructure. Cloud made it possible today. Improved bandwidth connectivity or cost-effective solutions are available. So that is pushing the envelope to adopt more technology, but that create big challenge also for organization to how to manage and in the new operating model. But another area why it's happening now, or why now, is that business today face a imperative or increased pressure to innovate or deliver product services faster or provide exceptional customer experience. And that is predominantly because of the changing work dynamics. The young generation, or I will say Generation X employees who are joining or have grown up in iPhone, Google, Meta, or Uber, or Netflix environment. They are expecting and they're bringing the digital first mindset. So organization need to adopt to their preferences, and that's why they have to adopt new technology, leverage modern technology or agile way of practices. So I think that's the big reason for doing now.
I mean, that's an incredible tool. If you have that sort of talent coming through your doors, younger talent in particular, with that passion, to harness that it is quite something. But you mentioned cloud, Gaurav, so let's just stop to consider that for a moment or two. What advice then do you have for those here today, but other technology leaders, who are embarking on this journey or a migration? What advice do you have with Wipro, of course, in mind here?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I always, whenever I'm talking to customers or CXOs, I always say that cloud is a journey. It's not a destination. It's a process in itself. And the key element is defining at the start itself the objective and goals. So why you are taking the cloud journey? It's be because of agility, or because of cost saving, or providing enhanced customer experience. Once that has been defined, it will become more easy for the organization to take the right strategy, I will say, or planning. So I think that's very important that at the first. And second is, you perform comprehensive assessment. I will say, do a health check. What kind of workload, what kind of infrastructure applications, what kind of use case they are powering, and what kind of R lane has to develop according to those use cases. I'm seeing a lot of assessments which are available today in the markets, or third-party assessment, or even cloud-native assessment. They are retrofit to 3 public cloud vendor. No offense to these 3 vendors, but the world is more diverse and hybrid for most of the organizations. So you need to do a smart assessment which is able to give you a more choice, control, and flexibility on your final landing zone. So I will say, start with the goal and definition, why you want to take this journey. Second is, emphasize on doing a comprehensive assessment. And then on top, you can develop, cloud right model, or focus on your governance, building the CCOE, as we say, and investing in talent pool, as Joe's mentioned, and, continuously monitoring and optimizing, your cloud resources, so you can mitigate the utilized or over provisional resources, what we call it, FinOps.
Thank you, Gaurav. Joe, I'll just quickly ask you this, just to build on that, if I may. I mean, Gaurav highlighted the sort of setting of goals is that first important step. Is it also the most difficult, in your opinion?
It seems easy from the outset, but the further you go through it and the more people and divisions that get involved, the more complicated it gets. But Gaurav's absolutely spot on. Why are we doing it, and what are we trying to achieve? And then kind of build your methodology around that. But the most important piece of that is, it goes back to people again. You need to do it with people that have already done it before and made the mistakes. We see a lot of projects. I mean, cloud's not new, let's be honest. We've seen a lot of projects stall and fail and then end up in a FinOps type engagement that Sinead was talking about there, because the idea was, it's going to save us money. Let's pick everything up, move it across, land it in the cloud, wherever it is. And then, oh my God, we're spending so much money. What do we do about it? And who's responsible? So define why you're trying to do it. Is it agility? Absolutely, is the right place to go if you want to do it that way. Is it cost? If it's cost, you've got to be really, really tight on, where do we want to land? What are we going to do? How are we going to work on it? And it comes back to internally within our brand, we call it plans, to run in plans. And luckily we can do that. We can look at your technology right now. We can show you how it can be optimized, but more importantly, if you want to pick it up, we can say it's going to be more cost effective on AWS, Azure, or GCP. But more importantly, we can give you that idea as to where it's going to land when it gets there. And then after that, it's about ongoing management, making sure that you've got an eye on everything. Otherwise, we all go back 25 years and we end up with VM sprawl everywhere that we can't cope with.
Yeah, thank you for your thoughts around that. I just wanted to revisit as well something that Sinead highlighted in her presentation earlier about digital transformation. We know just how much the pandemic accelerated digital transformation for different companies and organizations. Gaurav, in your opinion, how can an organization's digital transformation plan align with its green transition? And how can you ensure that alignment between the two?
I think it's important to, take, again, you need to start with your, honest assessment, what areas sustainability is not, you have to do it. It is good for business. If that cultural shift comes in the organization, if that thinking is being adopted. So that's why I mentioned, sustainability by design.
Yes.
Whatever actions you're taking or whatever procurement partners also you are aligning with, you have to make it sure that they are following the same vision of sustainability, what you are willing. So it's not, sustainability is not only a tick mark in your ESG, financial metrics, but I think it's more about, leaving a better planet for our children and, so it's important. And I have also realized young generation are associating with these brands and organizations who are more aligned with this vision. So it is good not only for technology side, but also for your business.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a win-win situation, you might call it. Joe, let's talk about it. What are the opportunities then for an organisation that can integrate and enable a sustainable IT, a green IT? What can that potentially unlock for an organisation as it looks to the future?
So many things. I mean, obviously, Gaurav's absolutely right, by the way. We all have a responsibility within work, out of work, in order to be as green as possible. But this isn't going to become a complete environmental discussion this afternoon. That's probably a different forum. I'd say the possibilities that it unlocks, if we think about sustainability, we're actually just talking about doing more with less. When we say doing more with less, back into a business context, that's driving the bottom line. It's taking away manpower to manage stuff that we don't need anymore. So what does sustainable mean to an organization? It shows that they care. Absolutely everybody wants to do it and everyone's trying to do it right now. But more importantly, it allows us to be as lean as we possibly can be without putting any risk on the organization. It's driving the bottom line. It's freeing up budget to go and investigate and do things that you can't currently do. And in all honesty, it's a responsibility. Hence, if you look at things coming down the line, a lot of regulation aimed primarily at financial services straight away. We have a responsibility and we have no choice.
Yeah, and companies can't do it alone. I think that's really important to remind everyone, as if they needed reminding of that. And evidence perhaps by this showcase today, Wipro, IBM, I mean, the partnership is well proven and well known. Joe, you first. I mean, can you just talk to us about the partnership between the two and why in this area in particular?
I'm going to go back. So we've had, from a brand perspective, where I sit, a recent acquisition within IBM. I was responsible for building the business prior to acquisition. I came in with 4 very straight pillars of the strategy. One of them was build a team in order to execute. Number 2 was obviously execute on IBM's accounts. Number 3 was customer success. We've got to deliver success to customers. And the 4th one was we need to build a repeatable revenue stream, quite selfishly, with the right partners. So I've mandated to my team that we only want a few, but those that we trust and are on board and committed to the journey. Wipro absolutely are front and foremost, front when it comes to that. The reason we navigated towards them, and it was a perfect match, is they have the reach, they have the experience, and they have the customers doing the type of projects that are on the journeys that Gaurav spoke about, where we can make our biggest impact. So from our perspective, and I've worked at vendors in the past that would absolutely have a huge ecosystem. We don't want that. We want the few but the right in order to work with us. And I have the utmost confidence in Wipro in that space.
Yeah, yeah. Gaurav?
Yeah, I think Joe is right. I think Wipro and IBM, bring set of strength and capability that deliver enhanced service and offering to their respective clients. But both organization have complementary expertise and capabilities in different aspects of IT and cloud computing, I will say. So, for example, Wipro bring full stride cloud services, which is an end-to-end for each vertical. From SS to design to build to migrate, transform, and manage services. On the other hand, IBM brings its cloud infrastructure, innovation, tool, application, AI capability to the partnership. So it's a win-win for customer. And recently, me and my team and Joe was involved in combining technology stack and industry knowledge to create innovative solution. We call it Slice. It's a comprehensive hybrid multi-cloud cost and impact management accelerator powered by IBM Turbonomics and with various leading enterprise partners. So it's a partnership to stay and bring value to our customers.
Yeah.